I again managed to forget these fucking brackets right there. Let's unlock some shit. Oh, look at this! Look at this! Mazes! This might be one of the most addictive coding games ever. This is essentially a clicker game where we have a field where we grow crops, pumpkins, hay, trees, stuff like that, and we have a bunch of unlocks available and upgrades as well. Now, how does this work? Do I click the drone? No. I simply write this code. Just look at it. I've written this code, I can simply run it, and then the drone is going to do exactly what I told it to. As you see here, we're growing some grass, some trees. The trees we're growing in this pattern because it maximizes their growth speed. We've got a few carrots. We have to buy seeds for those carrots, so that also takes some resources, which is why we need the hay and the trees. And here we are growing pumpkins. Now, as you see, pumpkins merge together like this, and our goal here is to have a huge pumpkin and then harvest all the pumpkins at once they're all grown. The issue is that some of the pumpkins can die when they grow, so the drone has to do a few passes there. So as you see, the first pass is planting the pumpkins, some died. Second pass, plant the pumpkins that died. Remember that some might die again, like this one. Plant it again, it died again. So rinse and repeat, and once you do a full pass and see that all the pumpkins are there, the next time you can simply harvest it for insane profit and repeat. This is brilliant. That's essentially what this piece of code does. Now, as for the upgrades, we can't really upgrade the speed of the drone because that costs power, and we don't have power just yet. We have some debugging tools which are basically free, but there's no way I'm doing any debugging. We can increase the yield of carrots and their cost. I believe carrots cost wood and hay. We've got a bunch of that, so I suppose we could just as well upgrade it a couple times. And some more. That's about it. I don't want to overdo it. We still need to profit hay and wood as well. We can upgrade the trees too. Let's do it. Trees don't cost anything to grow and they give us a lot of wood. And then we could upgrade the pumpkins too. I'm not sure I want to, and we can do a bunch more stuff. Namely, we could do watering, speeding up the growth of the crops, because as you see here, the carrots are taking a long time to grow, so the drone planted them and the next time they're still growing. Same for trees, same for the pumpkins. Oh no, the pumpkins are actually quite fast. The carrots are an issue, so we could look into watering, and actually we could expand the farm. This also clears the farm. Let's do it. So we've expanded the farm. I'm gonna rerun the code again, just so it's a little cleaner. And I believe I've written it in a way that, yeah, we still have a 4x4 grid here, and we got a couple more carrots, couple more trees. So I suppose it all should still be in a nice equilibrium, so we're not missing any resources, and we're gonna need many more pumpkins to expand further. So what I'm thinking is maybe do this to be a 5x5 and not 4x4, because it scales rapidly. The yield of the pumpkins, that is. Because now it's the size of the square cubed, so 4 cubed, and having 5 cubed could be insane. So let me take this code and I'm simply gonna edit this part. This is where we plant the pumpkins. So I plant them if column is larger than 1, which is weird because it's not really happening. Let me run it again. It should be this area. Column. Oh, column. Right. I'm an idiot. Sorry about that. So we've got 0, 1, and 2. So larger than 1 is this column. And lower than 6. 6 is here, so lower than 6 is here. Then similarly for rows, larger than 2 and lower than 7. So I'd say, let's say lower than 8, and as for the columns, lower than 7. So now we should have a 5x5 grid right here. So I added those 2 rows, and hopefully we should still have enough resources to actually maintain this. Now let's see what the yield is. We've got 848 pumpkins, and on the other pass the drone should harvest that, and we've got 1200. So that's about 400 pumpkins per harvest. Now we can unlock some simple utilities like the min, max and the apps functions. I don't really see the use in those just yet, and they are quite costly. So instead I want to unlock the fertilizer. Plants grow instantly. So obviously to do that we need to buy fertilizer. So trade items.fertilizer, and we see it costs 10 pumpkins, which means it's ridiculously expensive. So no point in doing that. First, I really think we should take a look into the watering. Basically, we can water these plants, making them grow faster. I suppose it could be useful in the carrots department. The pumpkins are fine, I'd say, especially since we have to do a few passes right there. And I don't really care about the trees, because we've got way too many trees anyway. I mean wood. So how does this actually work? The plots where the plants are growing have water levels ranging from 0 to 1. We could get water, which tells us how much water there is. We can use water tanks to water the plants, and we need to purchase those with wood. So using trade items.empty-tank. A tank can hold 0.25 water, and it fills up automatically. Let's not worry about the rate, let's read this. So if we had 100 empty tanks, one of them will fill every 2 seconds. And we can call use items water tank over any ground to empty a tank and water the ground. So how much does it actually cost? It says it costs wood, but we need to find out how much exactly, and I don't know how else to do it than just write the command 5 wood. I see. That's not at all expensive. I'm gonna take this piece of code and put it right here, where I have my graveyard of farmers. We've got 2.0, 3.0, this was farmer 4.0. That's my version system. So now we have farmer 5.0, and we just need to edit it so that we can do the watering. So the trouble here is that I don't exactly know how much wood I get per tree, how much my carrot costs. I actually know that they cost 9 wood. So by default, that would be 2 trees, because each tree gives 5 wood. However, the trees are upgraded to 1000% yield. So how much do they actually give now? We have actually no idea. So I'm just gonna eyeball it, right? And let's say we're gonna buy... Oh, screw it. We're just gonna buy a water can per tree. That might ruin us, but whenever you plant a tree, you're gonna spend some wood you're sure to have by buying an empty tank. Right there. Costs 5 wood, and we should hopefully get like 50 wood per tree, I think. So let's just run this code, and we should start. As you see, we're getting water tanks. Stop fidgeting. Okay. Well, there are water tanks there. So we've got a couple of them, and as you see, we've already got this full water tank. So now we need to figure out when to do some watering. And I think we should do that with carrots. So once we plant... Oh, and it stopped. Never mind. Once we plant a carrot right there, we're gonna say if get water is 0, meaning there's no water on the plot, we might want to water it, use item water something, water, that's just useless. I said water. Is it tank? Oh, sorry. Items dot water tank. There. So that should hopefully work, right? Let's try it. We've got a few water tanks, and here the carrots should get watered. Now I have actually no idea how much water there is, because I can't really see, but I think... No, I have no idea. So let's hope that it's watered. But as you see, now the plants get planted, and the next turn, the next time the drone gets there, they can already get harvested. And we're still earning a lot of water tanks. So I'd say we're golden. I'd love to water the trees as well, but as you see, there isn't probably any point in doing that. And also we don't have that many water tanks available. And I think we could increase the amount of carrots we get. So let's actually do from column 3. I really like this because I can simply edit the code quickly and we've got a few more carrots there. That was much simpler than I expected. Now ideally the code should be as generic as possible. So the drone would know where to plant carrots or how many carrots to plant based on the amount of trees the drone has planted and stuff like that. But I feel like A, that's a bit too complicated, and B, we don't really have the functions or capabilities of knowing like how much does a carrot seed cost, and based on that calculate how many trees you can do and so on. Let's unlock some shit. Oh, look at this! Look at this! Mazes! Oh, we can unlock a maze with a treasure in the middle. Yes, please. If you use fertilizer. Oh shit, we don't have fertilizer, shut up. On a full-grown bush, we don't grow bushes anymore either. It will grow into a maze of hedges with a 10% probability. The drone can't fly over the hedges, and there's a treasure hidden somewhere in the hedge. And we get gold for that, and I don't even need gold just yet. Dang it, we should really unlock some useful shit. Okay, so which way are we going? Sunflowers unlock power for some reason. So let's unlock sunflowers. They collect the power of the sun, right? And we can harvest that power. Oh, this is insane. So look, when we harvest one sunflower, all the sunflowers on the farm get harvested and their power flows into the one we're harvesting. However, only one of the sunflowers with the most petals can handle this. And if you harvest a sunflower that doesn't have the most petals, it will destroy all the sunflowers on the farm. So we could use measure function, which tells us how many petals the sunflower has. And as long as we have power, the drone will use it to run twice as fast. That's nice. So let's plant some sunflowers. And now I see why we could use the utilities. So let's unlock the min, max and the abs functions. So I can't believe I'm doing this, but we're already up to Farmer 6.0. Now we are gonna grow some sunflowers, and I want to grow them in this area, this 2x5. So just like this, we can plant the sunflowers. But then we need to count the number of petals the sunflowers have. So we're gonna need to find the maximum. So max petals equals 0. That's the initialization of that. And I suppose it's gonna take some time for the sunflowers to actually grow, right? Or can we know immediately? So I've written some code and I've actually refactored this if statement for harvesting. And for some reason I spent about 15 minutes now and the code doesn't work at all. Now I figure out what the reason is. But basically what I'm doing here is plant the sunflowers here, have a boolean with, sorry, not a boolean, an integer value with max petals. Then once I plant these sunflower seeds, I take a look at how many petals it has and update the max value like that. And then when I'm passing through again, if I can harvest the item, so the item is grown, I only harvest if it's not a pumpkin and not a sunflower. So whatever else I can harvest. If it's a pumpkin, I only harvest it if I can, if I'm allowed to, if this boolean is true. That's when all the pumpkins are planted, so we have one big pumpkin. As for the sunflowers, I have to measure the petals and see if that sunflower is the one with the max amount of petals. Only then I harvest it and I reset the boolean value. Now, this didn't work for shit. Why the hell not? Well, that's because I again managed to forget these fucking brackets right there. I always do this. So basically, you can give me a shit IDE like this text editor, and then you can throw whatever coding problem you may have, the craziest one in the world. I will be able to solve it, but I won't be able to put the fucking brackets there. Now I hope that's it. No other brackets missing, so let's run our farmer 6.0 and see what happens. So probably this or maybe this sunflower should get harvested. Yeah, not the first one. That one got harvested. Wait, what? And then it fucked up. What happened? I'm not sure I understand. So only some got harvested? What? I mean, I'm clearly not understanding something right. I thought all the sunflowers would get harvested. So when you harvest a sunflower, the power of all sunflowers on the farm flows into the harvested plant. Right. I see. So the sunflowers probably don't die, and only the one with the most petals gets harvested. Then you should obviously upgrade your maximum value. Oh, you set it to 0, right? So does this work then? I think it should, right? Because you've harvested, updated the maximum. I mean, it's not optimal, but I'd say it works. Now this one got harvested, yeah, that's right. Set it to 0, and then you probably fucked up. Yeah. Because I'm counting on that when you start the execution and you can harvest, the maximum of the petals is the correct value. I would like to initialize it inside this loop, but that might screw me over, and I don't want to do 2 booleans as I have with the pumpkins, but I might have to. So here, we don't actually want to set it to 0, but to an insane number, so that the same run, it doesn't get harvested. Do we actually need to reset it? I don't think so anymore, right? So it's at 0, and we find the maximum right here. No, sorry, right here. When we go through the pumpkins, the sunflowers for the first time. Then we go through them the second time, and we harvest some of them, and we need to start counting the maximum again, right? So now I think I've got something. I'm not sure it's the best solution. I don't think it is actually. So what happens is that in the sunflower area, we measure the amount of petals and update the maximum, right? The maximum is initialized at 0. If it's non-zero, meaning we've already gone through and counted the petals, we can harvest sunflowers, so we're allowed to. Then when harvesting, if we're on a sunflower, which has the max amount of petals, and we've already counted all the sunflowers, we harvest it, say that we can't harvest any others, and we reset the amount of petals. Now, I don't actually think that this is correct, because we could harvest this sunflower and, replant it and start counting the maximum here, but these two might be the ones with the maximum amount of petals. But when we go around, we know that we can harvest because of this silly if statement. So those two potentially could get harvested and it wouldn't matter. Right. So let me tell you this. These could have max of 10. This has 11. This has 12. We go through, come here. This gets harvested, but it shouldn't have. This should have been harvested. Right. So what I think we could use is having another maximum of petals, but like the previous one. So essentially a 10 here, we would harvest it, and remember we used to have 11 here. No, the 10 wouldn't get harvested. I'm really confused, I'm sorry about that. But if we run the code, you can see only one sunflower each time gets harvested. And now I think the wrong one got harvested because all of them disappeared. And that's the issue. Also, another thing is that it's essentially pointless to have the sunflowers here because they give us some speed boost, some power, which basically gets to 0 by the time we reach the pumpkins. So it's essentially completely useless. So for now, I think we could just as well skip these sunflowers, just deal with the pumpkins and the carrots, possibly even increase the amount of pumpkins and carrots we're making, and focus on some other upgrades, because everything now requires gold. So sunflowers, cactuses, dinosaurs, not dinosaurs, multi-trade we could. I don't see the point. Let's unlock it, because why not? Yeah, we can buy, multiple at once. Not really sure. Buying items one by one takes a lot of time. Sure, I don't really mind at this point. And we should really take a look into the lists and other stuff, and maybe even unlock the mazes next time, because that might actually be the only way to get gold in this game, and we're gonna need a lot of it. But from what I've heard, that managing the mazes is insanely difficult. And honestly, oh, look at that, 4 hints, dang it. And honestly, at this point, I don't even understand it. Like, you have a hedge here. So how do you harvest it if the drone can't go over the hedge? Do you really have to build like a maze, enclosed maze, and have the drone fly into the maze? Well, that's gonna be ridiculous. But that's an issue for another time. For now, we can simply expand the farm once more and have some more pumpkins. Once I actually have enough of the pumpkins. Shitting hell, harvest the pumpkins already. Okay, let me check the farm. By the time I do, pumpkins gonna get harvested. Yeah, obviously. Now we've got enough. Expand. Oh, how much does it? 75,000. Oh, fuck me. And it got screwed over. So hang on. I hate this. So let's increase the pumpkin field by 1 again. So now we should have a 6x6 field, giving us 6 cubed every time we harvest a pumpkin. So that's how many? 36 times 6? Like over 200? I think I messed up. Oh, right, I know why. Because we're getting over 200 right now. But the reason is that our pumpkins are not like a single pumpkin yield. But one pumpkin actually yields a lot more. So this is gonna be over 200 to 16 times whatever our pumpkin multiplier is at this point. And it's, let me just unload this, click, and it's 500%. So that's actually 1,000 pumpkins per harvest. Beautiful. Well, let me know your suggestions. I hate the sunflowers, and I think that the mazes is gonna be the next step.